everyone. Let's get proceedings underway. So, good morning and welcome, councillors, to this meeting of the 26th of August. Welcome back Chief Executive Ms. Lambert. Seeing as Ian put the agenda together today, I've asked him to sit a bit closer to the action and give us a bit of a hand on the way through. So, welcome. And members of the public, good to see a turnout here. And that's by the by. So, could I ask Councillor Hewitt to take us through the prayer?
O God, our Creator, speak of us with every through today's book meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community and help all your people. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, gracious in the face of difficulties, and wise in our decisions. We ask this grace to us our Lord.
Call for apologies. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not sure whether we need to move that. But, and you're leaving 12:30. Okay. That's more of a notice. So we need to record that. I have a notice for today. There's been a bit of interest in the modification kiln. It's got a more technical name than that at Panpack, and I'm going to ask Mr. Maxwell to give us an update in minor items on what's going on out there. Any other notices?
Thanks, Chair. Just advance notice that I'm away representing New Zealand at a PIPREC conference in late September, and I will miss the September council meeting.
Leave of absence. Okay, no further notices. Oh, and welcome back Councillor Balfour too, of course. He's been on a crusade for the States and has brought the spoils of war back.
You've been having enough questions asked.
I'm sure that will change today, but okay, conflict of interest declarations. There being none, let's go to the minutes of the 29th of July. Excuse me, for accuracy, page 2, page 3, page 4, 5, 6, page 7, page 8, and page 9. Someone happy to move that is a true and correct record? Thank you, Councillor Bevan. Seconded, Councillor Pike. Put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Matters arising from those minutes. Thank you. Follow-up items from previous regional council meetings on page 3. Mr. Maxwell.
Morning, Council. Thank you. Through you, Chair. The biodiversity strategy process is still continuing. We haven't yet set a date for the accord signing and launch. We can steering groups over the coming months. There is a date sort of nominally put into the calendar for in the October-November space. We're just looking at venues at the moment. Once we've locked that down, we'll make sure it goes in the council calendar and you're aware of it. It'll be a midweek evening event to make it accessible to as many people as possible.
Questions? Councillor Scott.
To the Lagoima question, this is a matter of what qualifies as a Lagoima request and what. When it comes down to people trying to ask an explanations of what they'd like an understanding of, is that actually a request under Lagoima?
Might get answer that.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. An explanation is not required to be provided.
No further questions? Someone happy to move? Thank you, Councillor Scott. Someone happy to second that? Thank you, Councillor Bevan. Discussion. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Call for minor items not on the agenda. Councillor Bell.
Nature preservation zones and Radio New Zealand.
Councillor Scott.
Yeah, sort of.
Councillor Bevan.
River mounts.
Do I hear,
Someone had to say
do I
whitebait.
hear some sniggering?
Someone had to say whitebait, didn't they? No other minor items, thank you. Let's now move to item 7, affixing the common seal on page 9. Any comment, Mr. Drury, on?
No, Mr. Chairman, just more of the same. Interest rates are still down, so people are still taking the opportunity to freehold.
Not a lot happening there. Councillor Hewitt.
Out of interest, Paul, what is the value of these sales?
Well, Councillor, in the last financial year, I think from memory about 4.5 million, something like that.
But what about today that we're moving?
I don't know what the value of these are today. I'd have to find that out, but they're normally about between 150, 170 per property, so it's probably about 600,000 to 700,000. Yeah.
Further questions? Someone happy to, excuse me, someone happy to move that we affix the seal? Councillor Scott. We have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Pipe. Further discussion? Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. Carried. Now we have a petition, Save Our Aquifer petition to Hawke's Bay Regional Council on page 11. I'd like to ask Mr. Bailey to the table. Good morning, sir, and welcome. So the usual standard fare, Mr. Bailey, you've
Yep.
been here before. 10 minutes. If you think some questions would be useful, give us a few moments to ask some, but welcome, and the floor is yours.
Cool, thanks. Before I start, Mr. Chair, I'd like to congratulate, if you could pass on my congratulations to the land staff for hosting the Symphony of Soils discussion last night. I thought that was really well done and really well attended by the public. So obviously our soils are something of interest to a lot of people, so that was really cool to see. Thank you very much. Kia ora tātou katoa. Thank you for allowing me some time to speak to our petition today. The petition was started following the rally held recently where a significant number of citizens came out in the rain to express concerns about the way consents had been issued to water bottling plants. As I stated to Ian Maxwell in requesting presentation of this petition, even though the wording differs, the intent of the petition is the same as the motion proposed by Councillor Peter Bevan. And I listened very carefully to his speech on his discussion on that topic at the last meeting, and I was really impressed with it. It was encouraging to see Ian and Peter working together on wording that was achievable. It was unfortunate that the petition was started prior to Councillor Bevan's wording being available. So when I read staff's comments on the petition, I have ignored paragraphs 11 to 17, which relate to the request for a moratorium. What I did focus on was the comment that in paragraph 4, through collaboration, members of the tank group have been tasked with providing the council with consensus recommendations regarding objectives and policies for a regional plan change to the regional resource management plan covering the tank catchments. After the debacle that was the Ruataniwha Water Storage Stakeholders Group, I am confident that there will be more emphasis placed on ensuring consensus recommendations, which is as it should be. If this does not happen, then the tank group could also be shown to be a sham, which does no good for the reputation of the Hawke's Bay Regional Council. I was also intrigued to read that in paragraph 8, one of the principal reasons for the now extended timeframes was the tank group's preference to wait for additional science information rather than make recommendations based on the state of environment monitoring information up to 2009. Excuse my French, but this is what pisses people off. On the one hand, you've set up a group to discuss the future of the Hiratonga Aquifer. It is delayed, and yet you are seen to be unwilling to place consent applications on hold pending completion of the group's work. Why rush? The water's not going anywhere. The challenge that will confront you will be in the next dry spell. When citizens are asked to stop watering the gardens or orchards, there's a bit of a hoo-ha, but there is a recognition that water is a common, so playing by the rules is a community good. Will citizens feel the same when they see their water being shipped offshore in plastic bottles? I don't think so. Yet again, HBRC demonstrated by saying that the market will provide and that first come, first served are not in the long-term interests of Hawke's Bay. Staff seem to be fond of hiding behind the RMA and other such rules. Yet an admission is made in paragraph 18 that under section 88 of the RMA, the consent authority must decide if an adequate assessment of effects has been provided to support the application. In effect, the council as consent authority can set the bar in terms of the amount and type of information, detail of information it requires to process the consent. Well, here's a solution. Let's set the bar so high that new applications become unattractive. When tank is done, the bar can always be lowered. Everyone's happy. When I look at the last major study on the Hiratonga Aquifer, that is the Hiratonga Plains Groundwater Study in May 1997, it is obvious that contrary to staff assurances, we do have an over-allocation problem. Chapter 6.5 titled Groundwater Balance offers evidence that even my 9-year-old son can follow. If the recharge or inflow from a groundwater system from various sources is exactly equal to the discharge or the outflow from that system, then groundwater storage remains constant. If recharge exceeds discharge, groundwater storage will also remain constant while the flow of natural outflow springs at the boundary of the unconfined confined aquifers will increase. I'm quoting from the report. If discharge is greater than recharge, storage will decrease. Pretty straightforward, really. If we know what's going in, we know how much we can take out. It even provides a formula to work this one out, and I get excited about formulas as a mathematician. So delta S equals QR minus QD. It then goes on to fill in the numbers. QR, which is the recharge, amount of recharge, is 187.9 million cubes a year. The QD, which I assume is the discharge, is 185.8 million cubes per year. So the change in the amount of water is 2.1 million cubes per year. So the last major study on the Hiratonga Aquifer gave us a whopping 2.1 million cubes per year surplus each year. And this is based on the 1994-95 consent figures. How much additional volume has been consented since then? This is why I find staff's comments on the report and Councillor Peter Bevan's motion unbelievable. They make it quite clear that in their view there is nothing wrong. Yet they have not presented any evidence to the contrary. At the moment it's all conjecture. If it wasn't an issue, why are there water restrictions every time there's a drought? I mean, I'm
going to stop you there. It's not conjecture, Mr. Bailey. It is in-depth modelling, not conjecture.
It's in-depth modelling?
Yeah. Moderate your language, please.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever the case might be, Mr. Chair, that's the perception out there in the public. It is an insult to imagine that citizens' concerns around the aquifer will be placated by improved public relations. There is a high level of distrust in HBRC and the community around water issues. You cannot ignore this. More spin is not going to alleviate this. In fact, to my mind, any comments made by senior staff employed in recent years are subject to scepticism because of the perception they have been asked if they agree with the RWSS as part of their employment interviews.
Order. Bailey, Mr. Bailey. Please, do you have a point to make about your petition? Or
I do.
Are you going to use it as a platform to a whole lot of erroneous comments? Because I'm actually going to stop you there. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you've been here before, Mr. Bailey.
Yes, I have.
So, act appropriately, please.
But I will try to end on a positive. I believe Councillor Peter Bevan offers a solution which is acceptable to the, just counted that up, 874 signatures on this petition. I agree that a moratorium is legally challenging, but placing a temporary cap on the total amount of water consent to be taken out of the Hiratonga Aquifer until tank rep is finished would be a great alternative. You have a number of options in front of you. My personal preference is for option number 4. Only because it would be the simplest for the public at large to understand. I also believe that because staff are so confident that there is no problems with the aquifer, it shouldn't be difficult for them to work out a number. HBRC has an opportunity here to demonstrate that they are listening to the concerns of the citizens of Hawke's Bay and are thinking outside the box with coming up with solutions. Agreeing with the status quo is, in my mind, not acceptable. You have been offered a win-win situation. I implore you all to be bold and show leadership by grabbing this opportunity with both hands. Ngā hurrā.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Grant.
Mr. Mavis reads, we request a moratorium on any new or amended water take. Do you mean if someone sets up an orchard and wants to put a well down, is that included in here?
As I said, Councillor Graham, I think that it was unfortunate the wording of the petition was organised before Councillor Bevan had put his motion forward. The way that I presented the petition to the public was very much along the lines of the thoughts that Peter Bevan expressed in the last council meeting. So I'm comfortable that, the way that was wording at the moment, yes, it would imply that orchardists would have to just wait until the tank's finished. But I'm happy with I'm confident with the proposal that Councillor Bevan's put forward. Yep, absolutely. I agree with you. There's a contradiction.
That'll help us with our decision.
Yeah.
Are you telling me though that you're happy to pick an orchard over a water bottling plant?
No. No, I mean the consents for the 2 water bottling plants have been granted already. We can't, we can't have that turned back. What we're suggesting is that any future consents that come up need to be considered in the light of what's happening in the tank group. And I believe the tank group is discussing the issue of like the likes of best use of water, how we, the values around the catchments and how the community values the water that's in the aquifer, which is really cool. I believe in that process. I think it's a really good process. But I think you guys are putting the cart before the horse by allowing a whole bunch of new consents to come through or amended consents to come through before that process has been finished. And that's what the community, I think, is really concerned about, is that you're not taking time out and saying, right, let's just put a halt to it. The tank group, as you've expressed, maybe only another couple of years. What's another couple of years?
But with all due respect, Mr. Bailey, it was the same rules last year. We didn't hear about it last year.
We didn't know about the consents last year.
Did you?
The ones for the water bottling plants, yeah.
So it's water bottling you want to get rid of?
No, that was the water bottling plants have been the igniter for the discussion in the community.
Further questions, Councillor Scott?
On process, Mr. Chairman, I understand that we have a petition. I understand we've been asked to receive it, and I understand that although the petition is signed in a particular form, that Mr. Bailey's position changed in the wording. The petition actually has to stand on the wording that's there, nothing else.
In defence
Yep.
of Mr. Bailey, I don't think he's wanting to change anything.
No.
As he has explained twice now, at least, it started before the other process that was started within council. So I think he understands that if it didn't, we've got to deal with the wording as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
Yes, I did take offence at your remark, debacle of the Ruakanawa water users group, which I was a part of 4 or 5 years ago, which is similar to the tank thing.
Yes.
It's just a matter of a whole lot of different people involved in there having a discussion about and trying to find a consensus. So I think that was a little bit harsh, if you don't mind me saying so.
Yet it was quite clear, Mr. Mahi, that there were a number of members of that group who didn't reach consensus and were very, very concerned about the final report and were unwilling to put their signature to it. So that's why I'm quite happy to speak out about the debacle of the Ruakanawa.
Oh yes, I agree with that. There was 2 people in the end that didn't agree, but that's besides the point. It was just an opportunity for everybody to have a quarter about it. And the other thing with the in terms of going to option 4, and that'll appease the public. I think the public are going along the path of believing everything they read in terms of the water bottling thing, and it's really complex. And I have full faith in the scientists and Mr. Maxwell to be able to explain it, but it's very difficult.
We're out of time. Thank you, Mr. Bailey. We're 10 minutes up, and thank you for your submission
Not a
here
problem.
and presentation.
Thank you for the opportunity again, Chairman.
Right. So I'll
Chair. So Gavin and Malcolm,
Do we actually have to receive it or not receive it or take any action?
Oh, I'd physically receive it, you know,
Well, no, just,
before we can, well, let's deal with the discussion and then receive it at the end of the discussion. So. Happy to move that we receive it. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Any second? Yeah, sure. You wish to speak? This is the motion to receive the petition. I'll put that.
And part two, that there's a final request for a moratorium, Mr. Chairman, which is what the petition is about.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, so you move that, you second that, Councillor Bell?
I think Councillor Bell.
I had Councillor Bell. Just to, we are dealing with this issue in the next item. The issue here is we receive it as it was presented, and as we've heard from our presenter, that was. Okay, well then perhaps if Councillor Hewitt seconds it, and then you can vote accordingly. So you happy to second? I'll do one and two together. Yeah. I think we're going to deal with this item in the next item. That's the discussion.
I believe that was already said in the petition.
Yeah,
Not
sure.
in the petition to have a moratorium.
Because because of an issue of timing, that's what we've got to deal with. So secondly, you wish to speak?
I have a lot of sympathy with the objectives here, and I respect that 1,200 people have signed this petition, and a lot of time and care has gone into it. But I have to support the motion to say that we do decline moratorium, because the wording here says that there's no development on the Heratoma Plains until tank is completed. Well, tank could be 2 years, could be 3 years, could be 4 years. I have no idea how long tank could be. And in the meantime, people want to develop the Heratoma Plains, and they want to put in vineyards and orchards, which is very good and rational use of water, of a water resource. And that would be put on hold if we agreed to this as it's written. So I sadly have to oppose it and support recommendations 1 and 2.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Like Councillor Graham, I needless to say have some sympathy with the intent of the petition, and we should take note of the fact that around about 1,000 people have signed this, which signifies some concern about water management, which we need to take note of. But what we'll discover when we come to the next item on the agenda is the sheer difficulty of making change in managing this resource is quite challenged, and the rules around it are sufficiently complex. Might be a good thing to do. So it's just a shame. I, as I say, do have sympathy with the effort that Mr. Bailey has made to bring this before us, but regrettably I'll also.
in the petition, I understand the points that Peter is making about the difficulties of changing or adopting a framework in the short term around this. We're going to have that discussion in a moment. So I will, I guess, support both pieces of the recommendation.
Right, that's 3 in favour. Let's put the motion, and all those in favour please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Thank you. Now let's go to item 9 on page 15, and now I'll hand over to Mr. Mack.
Thank you, Chair. So I'll just